to all the apartment. What do you think the reunions would be like if she finally does find Grace to see each other?
Wow. I think the reunion will be satisfying for Anissa, because that's what I'm tired of crying about Grace. Sorry. She has stressed Anissa out. So I think it'll be really gratifying and rewarding for her. Also, I think peaceful. I think the main thing that Anissa wants to know at this point is she okay? And I think that's what's really driving her up a wall, is that she doesn't know anything about what's going on. So I think it'll give her a peace of mind.
How do you think she would react to knowing Grace's power when that comes?
You know what? I think that she'd be understanding, because herself having superpowers. I think it would be a relief knowing that she can let her hair down and be honest about who she is. I'm really excited for that moment.
I think it'll be a shock once the discovery happens, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton more drama.
Yeah.
To make a good story, add the drama. But yeah.
Who's next? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so we talked about this a little bit this morning at Meet and Greet, but in Hollywood, especially Black Hollywood, there's been a lot of conversations about hair and makeup and making sure that when you get to a set, whether it's a TV show or a movie, that there's someone there who knows how to do your hair. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the sad part is that you don't know. You don't know if they're going to know what they're doing, or if there's going to be a hairstylist that represents your hair or understands your hair or know how to do your hair. But for me, I always just come ready, because I'm always really afraid of that happening. So I figure if I come and I let them do a little brush it down, then I'll be taken care of. But I love that we're having the conversation about making sure we have African American stylists in our makeup rooms on set. So now that the conversation is being had and it's sparked and we're talking about it, I hope that we'll definitely see the change, and we will. I try to bring my hairstylist with me everywhere I go. She's been doing my hair since I was 16, so it's very important to me. Black women, we don't really like to switch up on our hair stylists. We like to stick to somebody. Don't touch our hair, don't switch up stylists. So I love that we're having the conversation. It's pretty sad that it's taken us this many years to get to this point. But I think the shift has happened in Hollywood, where diversity is just, it's happening.
Yeah, and it's a great team on the show.
Yeah, we have a great team on. I'm really grateful and blessed, because on my show I do have a great African American stylist by the name of Caprice, who has been in the industry for about 20 years. She knows exactly what she's doing to my hair. I completely trust her. And I think that was very important when creating our show, that if we're going to tell the story of a black family, that we're very authentic with how black women change their hair and how many times they get their hair done in a day or a week. Y'all see how many changes I have on the show. But that's true to who we are as a black culture and as black women. So it's really cool telling that story.
Okay. So when Anissa puts on the costume for the first time, there's a song in the background with the name of a female black victim of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Did you know that was going to happen?
We don't know what the choice of song selection is going to be until we watch the show with you guys. I never know, but I get so excited when I hear the song choices for our show. I'm like just excited as a fan watching. I love music. The music that we do choose. Especially some of the older music has a very nostalgic feel to it, and it makes for a better show. I love the score on our show. Yeah.
Hi. So a lot of times superpowers are kind of seen as a metaphor for a person's kind of inherent queerness. How do your characters' superpowers kind of relate to their experience with being LGBT?
Well, I had a thought about the shape-shifting element, that and it's just my interpretation of it, but in terms of like bisexuality, the fluidity of that experience, and like that being represented in these powers, and then also where Grace is at, for instance, that there's it's there and there's an acceptance of it, but then being in an intimate relationship with someone else. With that experience can be a process. So that's how I kind of see that happening.
I think the parallel for Anissa coming out and coming into her own as Thunder, she pulled from the idea of being really bold. She was really bold in coming out. As you guys can imagine, Anissa probably didn't give a damn about who cared otherwise of who she was or who she wanted to be. So I just took that strength and that boldness and applied that to her journey as coming out as a superhero. And I mean, obviously she didn't go preaching to the choir about it and telling everybody, but she was very bold and confident in her decision in wanting to be one. And I think it was the same parallel for coming out as a lesbian. Yeah.
So obviously Thunder is a powerhouse of a superhero, which is absolutely great to see. So is there any DC villain you've looked at and been like, I want to take them on?
Same question.
Yes, same.
What about Joker?
That'd be interesting.
I still got some issues with Joker. Yeah, so being as though I'm a superhero now, I got some things to take up with his ass. Yeah, the Joker. Because for me, that was like my first memory of a villain growing up as a kid. And yeah, I got some stuff I can take out on him.
Who's the brain guy from The Outsiders?
No.
Anyway, that one.
The evil? You mean the evil Brainiac?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good Brainiac and a bad Brainiac, and I've just added myself as a nerd.
It's okay. We love nerds. Anybody else?
I'd like to ask, how's your experience with queer fandom been as opposed to other roles that you might have played?
Wow, it's been so rewarding. I tell my friends all the time, I feel like this character is the most effective character that I've ever played before because she speaks to such a large amount of people who at one point didn't feel like they were seen and represented. And as a Black woman in this industry, seeing what women who have come before me, what they had to go through and trials that they had to go through so that I could be here, I understand and I have compassion for the LGBTQ community and wanting to be seen. I know what that feels like as a Black woman wanting to be seen in this industry, so I can't imagine a Black queer woman wanting to see themselves. Representation is very important to me. It's why I took this role, it's why I fight so hard and I'm so passionate about this character. So yeah, it's effective. I had a woman come up to me last year at ClexaCon and she said after seeing Thunder that she felt normal being a lesbian. And to me that was the most rewarding response that I have gotten. And it was very overwhelming and gratifying, and it makes me feel like, you know, this character is really touching people's lives.
I think for me, for instance, after I did the play, I would get people in like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's being like, oh, I saw you in the play, that was awesome. I love Tracy Letts, it was awesome. But if a fan from Black Lightning meets me, like I get such a personal story. Like I relate to your character because here's my story, here's how it affected my life. And there's like, I guess, a deeper experience that I gained from like interacting. Like even here, people I've met through the day today or messages I get, on Twitter or on Instagram, it becomes a very personal exchange of, what this story reflecting someone else's story.
I think I even had someone say something, not think, but she said to me earlier that Thunder saved her life, and I'm getting teary-eyed just really thinking about it. And it wasn't so much because she was a lesbian. She said that it was how strong and bold that she was that encouraged her to find that strength within herself. She was getting bullied, and the character, saved her life in a sense of gaining confidence for herself and, wanting to continue to live, which is like it just struck me when you said a personal story, because when you come to Comic Cons and when you come to ClexaCon, you get really personal, deep stories and experiences that you encounter with your fans.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to give anyone a handshake. I want to give them a hug.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference, I think.
Anybody? Yeah.
How does it feel to have a better costume than Thuy?
Okay, so show's called Black Lightning. I love Black Lightning's costume. That's first. I love blue's my favorite color. I'm like a kid whenever I see his costume. So I can't really say that my costume is better because I really love his. And that's the name of the show, so I'm gonna watch my mouth.
They're all wonderful.
Oh yeah.
And they all come together.
They do, yeah. It's exciting. Now that Jennifer has her costume, it'll be really cool to see. We don't get to see the episodes before they're done, but we have to do ADR where we have to go in and do voiceover
Sneak peek.
Yeah, so you get a sneak peek. And a lot of times when I'm in ADR, they're like, okay, Nafessa, you can start. And I'm like, looking at the screen. They're like, you missed your cue. And I was like, oh shit, my bad. I was going to the episode because you get a sneak peek of it. And I saw a peek of all three of us side by side in our costumes. And I was like, just watching a beautiful black family, we've never seen that live action on television. And I can't say it enough. I'm still grateful for this job the same way I was when I first found out that I booked it. And that was over 2 years ago. So telling this story and being a part of this show, which is so dynamic and historic, will never get old to me. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on TV, often when we see queer interracial couples, it often involves a person of color and a white person. But you guys are not portraying that, and I know
She's
that.
black and I'm Asian.
So what are your feelings being able to portray that on TV for people?
You answered, baby.
Well, I feel like we're portraying life.
Life. Yeah.
And I think we're portraying life from
A very diverse
from a-
perspective, yeah.
from a diverse perspective that doesn't have, the lens is not, a white studio. It's diverse.
Mm-hmm. And how many Asian superheroes do we know? Like, it's really time for change, and we're tired of seeing the same thing on TV. So it's really, really beautiful to have, such a diverse relationship that we are not used to seeing on camera. And we also have to give credit over to, the creators of the comic book, because we're just really paying homage. Like, this is who they were in the comic book. So it's not like, we came up with this idea to just like tell this story of this relationship. It's really just paying homage to the comic book. Yeah.
His story is really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his personal story about what happened with him, with his meeting, how he met his wife, how he had a friend who died of AIDS, like all of those things inform, I think, who he ends up writing about. Which I think he wrote this portion, The Outsiders, this story arc.
Yeah.
Last question?
First, I just want to say thank you for, I was drawn to the characters originally because of the Asian and the black minorities, because I myself is part of minority as well. But then being together, it's like another, again, diversity that I've never seen, I think, on the TV show, and also in the movies. But I have a fun question. Being that you are both superheroes, what would be your wish for a superhero ability that maybe your own or something else that you can think of?
I wish that I knew how to fly because I don't have a lot of time these days. In the West Coast, back and forth. Time is of the essence, so I'm always traveling. I'm always on the go. So if I knew how to fly, I'd be a real badass. That's mine.
Perfect.
I mean, I was going to say fly because I like being in the air, but then I think maybe time travel.
Wow.
To like experience different eras.
That's a great one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.